Chris here from Food and Drink Stories. Today I'm going to be showing you how I cook one of my all-time favourite breakfast options, avocado and poached eggs. Let's get stuck in. So, super simple recipe, but a little bit of technique required. I think poached eggs is one of those things that people love to order when they're out, but actually struggle a little bit to cook them at home. So 3 elements to this dish. 1, great quality bread. 2, perfectly ripe avocado, and 3, the freshest eggs you can buy. Start with the bread, and I have opted for a expertly baked sourdough loaf. Sourdough is just the most amazing bread, super healthy and super tasty. Sourdough is a really interesting one because it's baked using a starter or a mother dough, which is basically a combination of live yeast, flour and water. It can be kept alive for absolute years, and that process of starting the bread with that mother dough gives it this really lovely rich flavour. We're just going to simply chop a really lovely thick slice of our sourdough and leave it to one side. Getting the right avocado can be an absolute pain. You want something that is really lovely and soft but not rotten. You want something that's sort of soft to the touch but not sort of collapsing under your fingers. The technique here really is just to slice from sort of tip to tail and go all the way round the avocado. From here you can just twist it apart, and the stone ought to be just in one side of the avocado. It's super easy just to scoop the fleshy part of the avocado out of the skin just using a spoon. If you're only using half the avocado, leave the stone in the half that you're not using, cling film it and leave it in the fridge. This will help keep it fresher for much longer. At this stage you just want to check for any sort of black bits in the avocado. If there are any, you should be able to just pick them out. However, sometimes you've just got a bad one and you're going to have to bin it, in which case hopefully you have a backup. Season your avocado with salt, pepper, and personally I love some chili or some Tabasco as well. Maldon sea salt flakes are absolutely amazing, so I definitely recommend getting some of these. You can just use a fork to mash it. I'm a bit lazy and I'm going to use a potato masher. Way quicker, particularly when the avocado is a little bit underripe. Just make sure it's all mixed in, and there we have it. So onto the poached eggs, which of course are the most important part. Now there are a few steps to getting the perfect poached eggs. As I mentioned earlier, the first one is having the freshest available eggs. If you have anything that's more than a few days old, the whites will start to deteriorate and become really wispy. Heat some water to a gentle boil. A bigger tip if you're poaching more than a couple of eggs is to crack the eggs into a bowl or a ramekin or something like that and pour them all into the water at the same time. This means that you know exactly how long all of the eggs have been in the water. You know, if you're anything like me, it takes you a little while to crack the eggs into the water. If you're doing 4, for instance, the 4th one will go in probably 30 seconds after the first one. If they're fresh, they stay completely separate. Bring a saucepan of water to a gentle boil. You don't really need more than about 3 or 4 inches of water, but any less than that and the poached eggs will stay really quite flat, more like a sort of fried egg shape. You sort of want bubbles along the bottom but not really breaking the surface. This really is sort of the perfect temperature for poaching. Once you're ready to go, add about a tablespoon of vinegar, sort of light, maybe white wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar into the water, and this basically just helps the eggs coagulate, which in effect just means that the whites will set better. Just before you put the poached eggs into the water, create a bit of a vortex, so effectively get the water spinning and then get the eggs nice and close to the surface, and we're away. Set the timer for 3 minutes for that perfect sort of runny yolk, and then just monitor the temperature. You don't want it to get any hotter, you don't really want it to get any colder, just those sort of gentle bubbles on the bottom. Whilst waiting for the eggs, if you're getting value from this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and then get the toast in. You want to make sure that that pops out at roughly the same time as you're finishing your eggs, because they will continue to cook. And I don't know about you, but if I get poached egg or fried egg where the yolk is sort of cooked all the way through, I'm absolutely gutted. I also prefer not to season my water with salt, which of course you would do if you're cooking pasta or something like that. I find, again, it sort of stops the whites from setting quite as well as you would like, so I save the seasoning until the very end. So when the timer is up, remove the eggs from the pan just with a slotted spoon or something like that. There's going to be quite a lot of excess water, so I'll tend to just lay the eggs on a little bit of kitchen roll, and it helps get rid of some of that excess water. I wouldn't leave them on here for all that long, but I would, whilst they're here, just give them a little bit of salt and some pepper as well. To construct, really straightforward. Spoon out our lovely avocado onto the bread, and then really gently add our poached eggs to the avocado. the perfect avocado and poached eggs. Let's see how I did. Absolutely perfect. Poached eggs, avocado and sourdough toast. You can't beat it.